Hello again everyone, and here I am back for my second process video of today. This time I'm not using a sketch or anything as I quite often do. This time I'm making it up as I go along. I've started to map this photograph here of my husband back in 2020 when we were all wearing masks, of course, and here he is with Santa's sleigh when we were visiting Santa's grotto with our granddaughter. On this instance I've left a very fine margin around the edge because I don't want a big border, and the reason for that is I've decided to use this gorgeous Mintay paper which I got from Thompson's Craft Supplies, and this range is called Winterland, and as you can see it's absolutely gorgeous, lots of snowflakes and these fabulous collage pictures and wood grain, etc. But I particularly like this one, and so rather than mat it or use a foam pads, which I usually do, on this occasion I'm going to cut the actual background paper. I quite often do this and then tuck the photos in, but first of all I will trim up my it's too wide to go in there, so I'll trim up my photo first so that it has a tiny little margin around the edge, and then we'll start cutting the actual main paper. Quite often I think these Mintay papers are just too beautiful to cut into, so I tend to make the photo fit around the graphics because the graphics are so pretty, and I do like this Mintay range, although you know, you can see if I put that there, that's going to obscure part of the deer, part of the branch, part of the log pile. So what I'm going to do is just raise it up a little bit and actually take my knife here. This is a very sharp blade, it's just a tonic knife, and then I'm going to cut out around the deer. I'm going to cut out some of this wood branch here as well, just enough so that you can slit the paper and then slip the photograph in. You see I've actually made a slit there rather, just following the line, the contour of that. Then here again on the deer, what I'm doing is just cutting around his chest, cutting around the log pile, and up here as well there is a rather attractive branch of snowy stuff, I can't think of a word, which may or may not get included under the photo, or I might just leave that out, I'm not sure yet. Anyway, the idea is that you cut it and you slip, it's not going to work there, you slip it around the deer like so, or like so, even. Not making a very good job of this. Right, so that's there. I'm going to have to cover that up because that's not going to work. So let's slip it under this side first, and then we'll slip it under the stag's chest. Can you see? So now you will get the photograph will be cut off on one corner because it's tucked underneath the paper. Didn't do such a good job this side, but I'm sure you get the gist. I'm not going to worry about the bottom bit because I will put clusters and more information in there, but of course now I need to glue that down. So I'm going to glue that down with a bit of pin flare glue. It's my go-to glue for wet glue. However, I do also use a tape runner as a rule, but because I want to have the ability to move this around, I need a wet glue on this instance so that I can actually jiggle it about on the paper. There, now I've shuffled it up a little bit so I do get the top of the wood pile in, and it covers a bit more of that mistake I made up. But as I say, I will be putting some embellishments and things on there anyway. So that's it basically, my layout. I did create on the back of one of these pieces of paper, not sure quite where it is, let me see if I can see it. This here, I've used this kit before as you can see, so there's only bits left. Lots and lots of embellishments here, but on the reverse, very handily, they've got tags that you can use for journaling, etc. So I cut one out earlier in typical Blue Peter fashion. And I actually did my journaling beforehand, because I'm sure you don't really want to watch me write. I'm sure you all know how to write. So this is going to just tuck in here, and I'm going to cut off this bauble here so that you won't see the bauble. However, it does then mean that the ice skates are in the bottom. And I've just written 2020 has been a funny old year, but we have been able to do some nice things together, albeit differently to usual. Like this trip to see Father Christmas with Amber at Hever Castle. Lucky we went when we did, as the next week we went into Tier 4 and we wouldn't have been able to. In the UK we're not able to get out and socialise now, and actually my friends went a week after us to Hever Castle in Kent, and they were unlucky and weren't able to see Father Christmas in his grotto, which was the highlight of the trip for us because it was so well done. Anyway, we were lucky and we did get to see Santa in his grotto, and it was very clever because they put a slide in so that Father Christmas could send the gift down to our granddaughter via a slide. So it meant that we didn't have to get near him, and my granddaughter didn't have to get too close to him either. So so that's really how it did. And you'll perhaps have noticed that I also used the pin flare wet glue to ease that into place. Again, it just gives me a little bit of wiggle room in order to make sure the placement is just right, and I didn't cut off the top of the ankle boot, and I didn't, you know, move it too badly. So that really is the basis of my layout. Now, I cut this earlier on my Brother Scan and Cut. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it yet, but I have cut it. I also did a little bit of fussy cutting as well of these lovely poinsettias, because I absolutely love poinsettias, and it's a nice little way of introducing a bit more. I've cut a larger one, a medium-sized one, and a small one, but I'm not sure quite where to put them yet. I quite like that. Yeah, I think that's better than that. So yeah, I quite like that. I'm going to leave that there. I did also fussy cut this little sleigh, but because it's repeating what's there, I don't actually think I'm going to use that. Similarly, I did semi-cut out a star to put in above here, but again there's a star there and a star there, and I don't want to overkill the stars. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is just put these on. Now, because I've put my photograph flat, I am going to put these on some foam pads. I actually use foam tape all the time, so I'm just snipping these off, and then I shall stick them in a nice little cluster together. Again, on the larger one on the back of that one, a small one on the small one, and a medium-sized one on the medium one. So I didn't think you would want to watch me fussy cut, but the one thing that I will say, although I'm not going to add this, is when you are fussy cutting, the mistake I sometimes see people make is don't move your scissors, move your paper. So it's always a case of moving the paper. Don't move the scissors. The scissors will not give you a nice crisp edge and a nice part to it, nice edge to it, crisp edge to it. If you are moving your scissors, you need to move the paper, not the scissors. I'm sorry if I'm teaching my grandmother to suck eggs. However, it is quite important that, because otherwise it just doesn't work. See, I'm moving with my left hand because I'm right-handed and cutting with my scissors. I'm not going to show you anymore. I'm sure you get the gist. I don't need that for my layout, so there you are. Right, so now I'm going to add my poinsettias, and that is just there. I don't want to obscure my, whoops, dropped it by mistake. I don't want to obscure my journaling, but I did put that in the slightly wrong position, so I've had to move it, but luckily I managed to peel it off. Right, then here, another little poinsettia corner. I'm going to tuck that slightly up. I've got a slightly damaged point on that one, which I noticed when I was fussy cutting it. So I'm going to slip the damaged point underneath that one, and then just take the smaller one and put that in there. Okay, Again, making sure I don't obscure any of the journaling, but just giving it a little bit of dimension. I wasn't sure that I was going to use this Merry Christmas, but I actually quite like it, so I think I am going to use it. And what I find is quite handy for these types of cutouts, and what are they called? Titles, that's the word. What I do find is quite useful are these Zig two-way glue pens. It came out in a bit of a blob there, and they usually dry very quickly, but because it's a bit of a blob, I think that might take a little bit longer to dry. But just dot it on the back with some of the glue, and make sure the edges, any bits that might stick up, are actually there. So good thing about this is the glue pen does dry. I like a pair of tweezers, and I've got a very fine pair, just to place it in place there. Unfortunately, it has that glue, because it blobbed out, has just blobbed a little bit on the front of my title. However, that will dry clear. I'm sure it will go away when it's finished. I'm sure it won't. If not, I'm going to put a little embellishment over it, but probably after I've finished talking to you, because it won't be dry by then. So that's the basis of my layout. As you can see, how quick was that? Didn't take any time at all. I'm doing this layout for a challenge over on UK Scrapbookers, and one of the criteria in the challenge I'm doing was to add lots of Christmas embellishments. Now, whilst it's a very Christmassy page and I put a couple of poinsettias and a title on, I wouldn't call that a lot of embellishments. So I have a box here. I'm one of those very organised, annoying people, I'm told, where I have lots of little things all boxed up in various places, and these are basically my red and white Christmas embellishments. So I can add, you know, little reindeer or snowflakes, etc., etc. I've got some rub-ons there, but I don't think I need those because I've already put Merry Christmas on. More bits and pieces there. I'm sorry if you can't see it, I'm trying to keep it in shot. Oh, these are rather nice. These are snowflakes with a little diamante in the middle, which would go rather nicely. It's quite a snowy sort of layout, so I think a few of these would be quite nice. So I'm putting those on, not where they've landed, of course. Again, more little trees and things there, but I don't think I'm going to add all those. I think I've got enough here. I have got a nice little wooden sleigh there as well. I might add that, I'll see. Anyway, that's enough to choose from for now. Again, in order to stick these down, these actually do have a little sticky dot, but in my experience they dry out quite quickly, and in my experience my pin flare doesn't dry out quite quickly, so I will put a little extra dot around there. Now I'm going to put one up here just by the title, Merry Christmas. I'm going to put a couple down here, I think, down in the bottom corner, again with another little tiny dab of pin flare glue, because it just brings out a nice little bit. There's another one with a sticky pad on the back. I just don't have any confidence in the sticky pads, which is why I'm adding more glue. So again, that's going to go just down there. So that's those, and I really want a third one, so I want to keep them together, but this one is actually not all that good because that diamante is not in the centre, so I'm going to reject that one. See if I can find another one here out of this packet. That's it, that's better. That's off centre, I didn't like that. I can fix that at a later point and add it when I'm not recording. Here's another foam pad. Again, I shall take that off the back, stick that on there, and just add an extra little one here. So around the Merry Christmas I've got a couple of those sticky bits, snowflakes there. So I've actually got 1, 2, 3 little sort of a diagonal line across there. Don't think this particularly goes, but because I've got it I want to use it. So I'm going to put that just next to the poinsettias, I think, And again, bit of pin flare glue, which I find is amazing for sticking most heavy embellishments like wood and perspectives, etc. There's another sticky I don't trust in either. It's always best to take the back off piece, because otherwise you're actually only sticking the back off piece on. You're not sticking the actual embellishment to the paper. It didn't particularly go well there, but again, I wanted to use it. And that's it. How quick was that? And that's a very simple little trick, just to cut into the paper. I don't know if you've done that before, but just to cut into the paper, slip your photograph underneath, and that's it. Obviously I did make some of the stuff before, like I cut the Merry Christmas and I fussy cut these poinsettias, but it didn't take long. But I don't want you to sit and watch me doing things like fussy cutting with it, which everybody knows how to do. So I think that's more or less it. I don't think there's much else to do, but I've just realised that this snowflake here is different to the others, of course, and it hasn't got Diamante in it. So I've got a pack of stickers on my desk. I quite often keep pearls and things that I can just grab on my desk without pre-planning, and that I've now added to the centre there. I'm going to add another one to the centre of this star, and it just sort of brings it all together a little bit more. One to the centre of that star, one to the centre of that star. It just adds a little bit more sparkle, and I think that's more or less done, although I'm just wondering now whether to add a red centre to my poinsettias. I'm trying it and then I'm going to decide. Oh yes, I like that. That's good. So that's there. Could do with smaller ones really for the others, but I haven't got those, so I have got them, but I can't be bothered to get them out. So I'm a very organic scrapper. I just go with what's to hand, and usually make things go somehow. Pop that back, and that really is it now. I'm not going to add any more. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope that will dry out and it won't be visible. If it does become visible, I will probably just add a bit of glitter glue or something like that just to hide it. Okay, thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.